Welcome. We're going to get started in a few minutes, maybe like 3 to 5 minutes. So please take your seats. Thank you all for joining us today for the Malibu Community Recovery Workshop. We deeply appreciate your presence. And for those joining us on YouTube, thank you so much for attending. We'll get started in a few minutes. Thank you. Thank you for those joining on YouTube, on the City of Malibu's YouTube page. This workshop is being recorded and live streamed. For those joining us on Zoom, please visit Malibu Rebuild's website or the City of Malibu's YouTube page to view the recording and participate live. Thank you so much again, everyone. My name is Farah Stack. I'm the Environmental Sustainability Analyst for the City of Malibu with the city's Community Development Department. It's an honor to be here today and to welcome you all to kick off this workshop. I am honored to welcome Mayor Marianne Riggins to the stage to deliver a few opening remarks. Thank you so much.
Good morning, everybody. It's so great to see the robust amount of people here with the subject matter experts from the Army Corps of Engineers, from the Boys and Girls Club, FEMA, Small Business Administration, our local fire brigade, and then our residents are here. I'm so happy that you're coming in person and online to hear this information directly from the city. We're doing everything we possibly can to make sure that you have the tools and the information you need in order to rebuild your homes and bring you back into the community. I want to thank staff for organizing this great workshop, and it's just a part of the information that we're providing to the community. And I just want everybody to know that if you've got questions, please reach out to the city. We have our Malibu Rebuild Center open adjacent to City Hall that is staffed Monday through Friday from 8 to 4. They have in-person and virtual appointments. And please, any questions that you have, come in, talk to them, reach out, get the information. If you're not sure about something, if you don't know what it is that your consultant is telling you that you need and you need explanation, our staff is here and they understand, and ask them 10 times if you need clarification on something. The most important thing is that you're comfortable with the process, that you understand the process, and that you're able to take the steps that you need to get back home and into our community. And I just want to say thank you to our staff, and I look forward to the discussion that's going to ensue over the next couple hours. And any questions, please let us know. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Riggins. This morning, we'll be hearing from a number of partners who are playing critical roles in Malibu's recovery, from public agencies to community organizations to community members themselves. We'll begin with an update on debris removal efforts from Colonel Jeffrey Palazzini with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. Please join me in welcoming Colonel Palazzini, who will share the latest from the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers regarding debris removal updates.
All right, well, thank you and good morning. As always, the city is so welcoming. Thank you for inviting us here this morning. It's always bittersweet to talk about what we've done and how we've done it, but hopefully explain to you a little bit this morning about the path that we've taken over the last 6 months, and that sets the stage for you as you talk about this rebuilding effort. You know, it is great to hear the city talking about moving forward towards rebuilding. If you think about where we've come from over the last 6 months, it's really quite remarkable. So let me lay that out for you. And honestly, as I was thinking about this morning and looking at the date, it's almost 6 months to the day where the Army Corps started our first debris removal parcel. And 6 months later, here we are, and in Malibu cities, the city of Malibu specifically, at 99% cleared with debris removal for those that opted into the program, and at about 97 or 98% where we've returned those packets to property owners so that you can move through the rebuilding process and getting permits and everything. Let's see if this works. It does. Okay, and so if you think about where we started 6 months ago, this was our map for the city of Malibu, about 440 or so parcels that opted into the Army Corps program and needed to be rebuilt or needed to be cleared. So the scope of the Palisades fire and really the Palisades and Eaton fires were pretty daunting. We're talking almost 10,000 properties between the two fires that needed debris removal, pretty significant. We estimated at the beginning of this, it would take about a year to clear all of those properties, just in terms of, you know it well, the terrain, the challenges in the area, hillsides, beachside, PCH, traffic, tides. We had to bring in a lot of special equipment to be able to handle that debris removal, especially on the hillsides that you've seen throughout the community. It was challenging, but our contractor has done an incredible job. They're subcontractors. They've really embraced their role. I think they've taken on the care and the attention to detail that we required of them in working with you and the community to make sure those parcels were treated as they should have been, properly, helping to find perhaps any remaining keepsakes that you were hoping to find in those properties, and then quickly removing the debris so that you could get your permits for rebuilding. So like I said, about 99% cleared here in the city of Malibu. We removed over 97,000 tons of fire debris, and across the two fires were over 2 million tons of debris removed. It's an incredible amount of trucks on the road and crews in progress. At our peak in the Palisades fire, we had over just in debris removal crews, over 100 crews working on any given day, and that doesn't count, as you experienced, all of those trucks that were on the roads as well. We know there were a lot of challenges, not just in your personal loss, but also in the roads and the road closures and the trucks on the road. But all of that did get us to where we are now, 6 months in and 99% cleared. I guess what I would like to convey, especially in the context of this particular workshop today, the way we got here was through partnerships and local leadership. You can't take the largest wildfire response that USACE has ever done and do it in half the time we expected without the community being as supportive as you were, without local leaders being as supportive as they were, and everyone having that end goal in mind and everyone pulling in that direction. And so I guess I would just offer that to you. That has been a big part of the secret sauce, if you will, the success of this debris removal mission. And I think it's already inherent and built into the community here as you start to look at rebuilding. Although the Army Corps isn't involved and won't be involved in the rebuilding efforts, I think we've all taken a lot of lessons learned from the debris removal that can be applied as you look forward to rebuilding. I look forward to taking your questions. I forgot the best slides, so let me move on to the slides. So just as we were talking about some of the challenges and some of the difficulties in removing the debris, it's interesting to just take one small area. We're in Big Rock here. We'll see if this works. No. Jeff, it's not working.
Will you hit it again? 5? It was working before.
All right, so it's what we're showing here is just one section of the community, the results or the where we started. Several homes there, several parcels that needed to be cleared, and over time, when this does work, it's kind of a live action shot. It shows you in the bout of course of the month what those parcels looked like before, and then what they looked like cleared, and that's where we are now. A lot of cleared parcels out there. It's been personally impactful for all of the Army Corps of Engineers employees and our contractor who have worked out here. We've really become invested in the community, invested in your success. Although you'll start to see, really, you're already seeing much less of us in and around the community as we kind of fade out, as is our role, to work ourselves out of a job here as quickly as possible. The investment that we all have in the community and your success, your rebuilding going forward, please know that we'll be checking in, and we're certainly personally invested and interested in the success of the community going forward. Our mission has not been just to clear the debris. It's really been to help the communities lay the groundwork for rebuilding. I think that's where you are today. We're thrilled to see it, and we wish you the best of luck going forward. So I wanted to save a few minutes here for any questions that you might have, any questions that there might be online. I'm happy to answer them to the best of my ability, and then I'll turn it back over to the rest of the workshop. So I'll pause there for questions.
Oh, so yes, for this session, we're doing Q&A. So if folks can line up behind the mic on the right-hand side of the room, and we will have Q&A start.
We also want to take the time to recognize the amazing job that Army Corps of Engineers has done. It was since day one, they came in and just opened your hands to help us. This is honestly something that it was an immense task, unprecedented, and very devastated for the whole community. Without all of you, we would not be here where we are. So I receive our deepest thanks from Colonel Brian Sasser that was here at the beginning, and you taking the lead right after. We feel your support. We thank you, and we will be forever grateful.
Thank you, Yolanda. Thank you.
Hi, first of all, I'd like to thank you guys for coming out and helping the vast majority of property owners. I understand a lot of people have loved their service. We did not use the Army Corps, and I wanted to know if you have the ability to talk to property owners whose properties were damaged by activities of the Army Corps. We share a driveway with somebody that unfortunately one of the crews broke our neighbor's water main. It resulted in damage to us. We've tried repeatedly to get copies of documents from you guys and talk to you, and we've gotten nowhere. So perhaps offline we could discuss, or you could give me your contact information. So we'd appreciate some help.
I'd be happy to discuss offline. Yes.
Thank you. And we're at 20529 Big Rock.
Thanks.
Hi, my name is Allison Dutch, and my house was in Las Flores Canyon, and I'm standing here to give accolades. I actually bought by accident debris removal insurance a week before this fire. I didn't even know what it was, and before I could get private contractors to my house, you guys showed up. I was shocked, and not only was it quick, but you guys were meticulous, incredible. The emotional intelligence of the Army Corps people, the RCI people, the contractors was unexpected, and I know that you guys get yelled at all day long, and you probably don't get enough accolades, but we had a great experience, and I am so very, very grateful. This has been, for all of us, the worst experiences of our lives. Grateful. Thank you.
Thank you. That means a lot. It really does.
Hi, I'm Joe Drummond. I'm from Big Rock. I lost my home there, and I'm on the Malibu Rebuild Task Force. I had a couple of questions. We had a great experience with the Army Corps, and we were one of the first ones, had everything cleared. Everything's great. There was a property on PCH. that applied for the Army Corps to remove their debris, and for some reason it got lost in the shuffle and they never had it removed, and so they had to remove it, and they were told that they were going to be reimbursed by FEMA, and now they're not. So that's something I just want to get a contact for them to contact someone, because they haven't received any answers. They just said they were denied by FEMA. And the other thing is Universal Waste Systems this might be something for the city as well. Final sign-offs that you guys give, like the final property clearance forms, how do residents get that so that they can, because UWS, which is the waste management company, is not picking up some debris in the containers because they're saying that it has toxic material or something, but it's already been signed off, and the EPA has already signed off on it. So people are just not, they don't know what to do with these big containers. So is there maybe Yolanda?
Yeah, and thank you, Joe. Thank you for asking that question for all of those property owners that decided to go independently. I'm going to have Andre meet with you, and we will continue working, addressing those items. Thank you.
But the people that UWS isn't picking up for was cleared by the Army Corps. So it was not private debris, it was public, or it was the Army Corps. So that's
So for the final sign-off paperwork, I think the easiest way to get that paperwork, once it's complete, so I'll back up. It goes through the Army Corps. We send it to the county for acceptance, and then on that county website, so the county debris tracker, I think they call it, debris removal tracker, where you can put in your address, your parcel number. It takes you right to your address. Your FSO paperwork, we call it final sign-off, will actually be available on that website to be viewed and downloaded once the county accepts it. I think that's the easiest way to get access to it. The county should also be emailing it to whatever email contact you had in your ROE.
Yeah,
I believe.
I got mine, but it just some people didn't get theirs.
Yeah, so those two ways are so it could be that there's if they were a little bit later in the removal process, or maybe
Yeah, we were June 5th.
yes, so it may be that it just hasn't quite made it through the county yet. We're still working through a lot of the paperwork that made a June timeframe where we were at our busiest. A lot of that paperwork is still getting through the system. So it's not a great answer. I would say patience, perhaps, but the county is really the key for getting that final sign-off paperwork.
And just to add to that, thank you, Colonel. We do have the partnerships with the county. We have the contacts. Lindsay has been working with them one-on-one so we can get the addresses and providing the information to those families.
Okay, thank you so much.
Perfect. All right, thank you. Just once again, thank you for welcoming us into your community. Thank you for your support and partnership. We're still here. We'll be here until the end, until our mission is complete, but that is coming rapidly. So we wish you the best of luck and look forward to seeing the city of Malibu thrive into the future. Thank you all. Thanks, Yolanda.
Thank you, Colonel. Thank you, Army Corps, and thank you to members of our community. Next, we'll transition to health and wellness resources available to the community. Representing Malibu Urgent Care, please welcome Dr. Dan Katz. And following Dr. Katz's presentation, we will include time for Q&A for Dr. Katz. Thank you so much.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here. I'm going to focus on the rebuilding of our community's healthcare system and the current project that Malibu Urgent Care is working on. My name is Dan Katz. I'm an emergency physician. I've been a physician for more than 25 years and really started off my career as a physician at Cedars-Sinai Hospital, where I served as medical director. I've had the great privilege of caring for this community since 2003 and took over the clinic as its medical director in 2000, and along with my partner, Dr. Lauren Pike, we are overseeing the expansion and rebuild of the urgent care facility. Just to kind of discuss what the state of healthcare is in Malibu right now, about 11,000 residents, millions of visitors per year, and the nearest emergency departments are a great distance away. We are fortunate here to have had multiple natural disasters, which include fire and landslides and flooding, et cetera, et cetera. And this presents a great challenge for residents that are seeking to access healthcare. We have been open continuously since 1994. We have not closed a single day since the opening of the clinic. And we are staffed only by board-certified emergency physicians. We're able to currently treat and evaluate about 95% of the patients that are coming into the clinic, but there are certain challenges that we face every day when patients come in. The topography of Malibu, you're all familiar with, but on any given weekend day with traffic, it may be an hour or more to get to the nearest facility. This next slide is EMS data that I looked through from a couple of years ago for all the paramedic runs. About 30% of the patients for whom Emergency medical services are summoned. Our trauma patients, many of these injuries can be safely taken care of within our facility currently. But there are a host of other issues such as complex chest pain or abdominal pain that require additional diagnostic measures. And this is really what we're seeking to address. And to be clear, again, I think that our facility can handle a great majority of these, but there are limitations, and these are the barriers that we hope to address with the current expansion. Looking at our 2024 summary, again, we remained open 365 days a year. We treated more than 12,000 patients. About 30% of our population is age 65 and older. We see a lot of pediatric patients and are well-versed at taking care of children. We are very comfortable managing complex lacerations, including things that require plastics repairs, fractures, dislocations, complex belly pain and chest pain, so on and so forth. We have really fancy ophthalmology equipment to evaluate a host of eye conditions, and we've even through the years had a delivery at the clinic. We also participate in many community services that are free. We're about to have our second cardiac screening for Malibu High School athletes. This is a little public service announcement that I'm going to inject in here. So on the 17th and 19th of this month, if you have a high school kid that needs a health screening examination, we also encourage them to undergo a cardiac screen. We're looking for ways to prevent sudden cardiac arrest, so actually doing a cardiac echo and EKG free of charge for all these children. We have participated in Stop the Bleed courses for the local schools, worked with the Boys and Girls Club, and then we also provide free care to community members as well. During the fires, we were able to sustain our operation by relying on our backup generators and Starlink. We were able to provide free nebulizer treatments to members of the community as well as first responders who were having respiratory issues. Dr. Pike and I personally drove patient specimens to St. John's lab through the fire zone. And we know in certain instances, this actually really changed the outcome of patient care. What was really heartwarming to all of us is that patients were coming in just for a cup of coffee because we had hot water, to charge their phones, to access internet. And that really made us feel like home base. And that was just very, very special in a time of crisis. I think the community affectionately knows us as kind of the Malibu ER. And while we are all board certified emergency physicians, we're not an emergency department, and we're hoping to elevate the level of care. So focusing now on the rebuilding efforts, why is it that we need a new urgent care facility? The main limitation that we have is imaging. Patients who are coming in with complex abdominal pain or isolated head trauma need to undergo either a CT scan or other advanced imaging study, and our current facility was unable to accommodate it in terms of space and in terms of the power. The adjacent Malibu post office, the old post office that has been vacant for 20 years, is going to be the site of the new facility. It'll almost triple the size of our space and allow us to install CT, MRI, X-ray, ultrasound. We also have room for 9 beds. This is the site plan. You can see our current space is about 2,300 square feet. The new space is significantly larger. The dirt lot at the bottom left corner of this has already been cleared and will be transformed into additional parking space. And I'm very excited about a healing garden space that'll be central to this, this new complex. The urgent care itself will have 9 patient beds, including space for the imaging equipment that I just alluded to, as well as a pharmacy for IV and other medications, and a laboratory. This is just a brief overview of some of the equipment, but this kind of paints the picture of a very modern facility akin to an emergency department with this type of imaging equipment. We're not corporate. We've been tied to this community for a long time. Dr. Pike got her first job as a teenager working for her mom, Dr. Jill Ferguson, who, along with Dr. David Frankel, who was my mentor at Cedar-Sinai, so we've been attached to this community for a long time. I'm now seeing the kids of patients that I took care of when I was here as a resident, and that's an old photo of me suturing someone in the back room in 2003. We are committed to this community. We want to hear from you as we're rebuilding. If there's any needs that you think that you need addressed, please let us know. We are very lucky to be supported by the Friends of the Malibu Urgent Care. If you walk into our facility, you'll see a couple of giving trees like this that highlight folks from the community that have donated through the years. And I'm very proud to say that we currently have a $5 million matching grant from the Herb Alpert Foundation. And I think that if we can truly fill this match, then we will be well on our way to have full funding for this facility. Thank you for your time, and really wish the best to all of you and to the community as we all rebuild together and stronger. Thank you.
At this point, we will do Q&A for Dr. Katz. So if you have any questions, please join us on the right side of the room to speak into the mic.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you. You assisted me with this. I got assaulted by a pizza cutter on Friday morning and had a painful weekend. But thank you for what you do. Appreciate it. I'm guilty too. I only show up when I need something from you. But everybody's on top of things, and it's greatly appreciated. So my question of you is, I know it's a $15 million endeavor, and I'd loved hearing what I just heard about a matching grant type scenario. What's your major obstacle beyond that, to make it happen?
None. We're ready to go. We just had, I'd love for everybody to get as excited about this as I am. Thank you to Ms. Yolanda Bundy, who's really helped shepherd this through. On Monday night, we appeared in front of the Malibu Planning Commission. We had approval from everyone. The community really came out and wrote more than 100 letters, is my understanding, and folks came here late into the night to support us. So we received our approval from the Planning Commission. Our permits are slowly coming through. I believe that we may be ready to go in the next couple of months with this rebuild. So I'm very, very excited. And thank you to all the community members who supported us. Great. Thank you all for your time.
Thank you so much, Dr. Katz. Next, we will have Siwan Constanza and Myra Herrera from the Malibu Boys and Girls Club. Thank you so much.
Hi, good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. My name is Myra Herrera. I'm here as the Director of Care Coordination with the Boys and Girls Club of Malibu. Thank you so much for inviting us and having us here today. We're very happy to be here. I'm going to speak briefly on all of our wellness and health programs. We are offering ongoing crisis counseling, support groups, and trauma-informed care coordination and linkage to resources. Our wellness centers are now at each of our Malibu school sites, offering school-based mental health services and collaboration with school staff to provide trauma-informed services to all of our families, now especially focusing on the long-term community recovery. All services are provided at no cost to all of the communities, SMM-USD communities, as well as the entire Malibu community. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here. It's been an honor to be here and share with you how we've been working with the community after the fire since January. We do have a disaster relief center located at the Malibu Village Shopping Center around the corner of Wells Fargo. And we've been there open every day just helping the families, the people that come to us for support in regards of resources, financial support, in-kind donations. And I want to talk to you, Board, about, how are we serving and supporting those services? By one-on-one care with everyone. We take our time, we listen, we find out if they're ready to speak. We will take that time to let them do that. And if not, if they just want to sit down and they just want to share with us and be there as a community, as many of them lost their homes. I can give you a few examples of people when they were coming in and they were saying, I don't know why I'm here. I don't know what I want. And our responses was, take your time. You're here, take a cup of coffee, glass of water, and whenever you're ready, we will help you out. And what we saw during all this time is the way that the community come together, even in the parking lot, believe it or not, but they felt that it was a community, that it was a support for us, giving them what they need, and especially in the social services, finding resources for them, helping with the intake form that we do, very thrilled, and allowing the families to who can meet the criteria get the support that they need financially or in-kind donations. One of the things that we wanted to make sure is that we call care connections, right? We want to make sure that everybody that comes in matters. It could be a homeowner, it could be a labor worker, it could be anybody who just need time to sit down and to listen and to receive the help and support that they need emotionally and in a way of material or financial. We are advocating and helping with the social services by making sure that whatever they need, we will go and resource out. And we will try to find it in a way that we will take whatever it takes to make sure that people get and the need that they do. I don't know if you remember when FEMA was at the UCLA downtown in LA Center, right? And people, our community was asking us, why do we have to go so far? Why do we have to go? We emotionally are not there, we're stressed. And what Boys and Girls Club of Malibu did, reach out to FEMA at Washington, DC. And we asked them to please come to our DRC. Come and get the support that these families and the community need. And guess what? FEMA stays with us 3 months at the parking lot, sitting by our side, and making sure that the families, even though it's being frustrated for a lot of them, that they have a one-on-one and they have the quality of service that they needed. And that's who we are. This is what our mission is for those who need us the most, because everybody matters. So making sure to all of them, if you ever need anything, make sure that we are open Wednesday to Friday from 10 to 4 now, just to receive services. Whatever you need, we will be able to do, because whatever it takes, we will go. It doesn't matter where you at. We can go under the bridge, we can go at Starbucks, or you can come to our center, to your home. Whatever it is, we will be there for the community who is being impacted. And just because we as a Boys and Girls Club are the only resource, as you might know, that are here. We were here at the 2018, we're here now, and we're not going away. And one of the things that I want to make sure and understand that we also are partnership with the Malibu Long-Term Recovery to be able to get more resources and be able to help all these families who are in need. So thank you so much for your time. I hope that see you there. And please spread the word out, because we're here to stay. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Siwen and Myra and Boys and Girls Club of Malibu so much. Next, we'll transition to economic development. Representing the Small Business Administration, please welcome Corey Williams. And if you have any questions for Siu and Myra and the next speakers, we will have dedicated time following the presentations from our speakers. So please save your questions for our dedicated Q&A session. Thank you so much.
Good morning. My name is Corey Williams, Public Information Officer with the U.S. Small Business Administration's Office of Disaster Recovery and Resilience. And of course, my heart goes out to all those who may have lost homes, their apartments, rentals, or even businesses or nonprofits. Right now, we're in a phase where we're talking or focusing mainly on the Targeted EIDL program. So EIDL stands for Economic Injury Disaster Loan Program, which is working capital for our small businesses and nonprofits to sustain themselves during this recovery period. Now, just to give you a little bit of, so of course with the incident period, we're looking at January 7th and continuing, and the business loan interest rates are as low as 4%. The nonprofit interest rates are fixed at 3.625%. Again, it's no cost to apply, no prepayment penalties, and no obligation to borrow. And the one good thing about the SBA loans is that all of our loans carry a 12-month no interest and 12-month zero payment. So essentially, any business or nonprofit may be able to get working capital funds, and then if they use the funds for the course of a year and the business is able to get back operational, if they decide to repay the funds, they don't have a loan because no interest accrued during the course of that period. But if they decide to keep the loan can actually be amortized for up to 30 years. So, and again, with the no prepayment penalty, let's say it's 2 years down the road, 5 years down the road, you can turn around and make that payment, and again, it'd be minimal interest. So who can apply for the economic injury disaster loan? As I mentioned, private nonprofits as well as businesses. And you have to be located in what's considered a declared disaster area. So of course, Los Angeles County being the primary county, and we have what's considered contiguous, or what I call adjacent counties, because everybody doesn't know what contiguous stands for. So we have Kern, San Bernardino, Ventura, and Orange County that are also eligible for the Economic Injury Disaster Loan Program. So again, what can the economic injury disaster loans be used for? It can be operating expenses. So in many instances, and I actually had the pleasure of presenting at the Malibu City Council meeting about a month ago, and there were a number of landlords that were in Malibu that may have lost the rental property. That can also touch on or replace lost rental income. And then, of course, with any operating expenses, payroll expenses, monthly lease obligations, mortgage payments, anything essentially to keep the business operational during this recovery period. One of the things I really want to touch on is, let's say we had a storefront building in Malibu. Now, there may be a pivot to where they may need to do a food truck, or they may need to do something, Amazon Marketplace. Well, that's the essential purpose of the working capital funds, is whatever is necessary to keep that business operational during this recovery period. That's where the Economic Injury Disaster Loan Program can kind of step in and provide the necessary funding. So we do have centers that are located all throughout Los Angeles County. And the one thing that I would encourage you is that while we have these centers open, and we have the Sawtell Center that's still open, we have another center at the American Legion at the Pacific Palisades. I think that's the Ronald Reagan Post right next to the post office. While the centers are here, I would strongly encourage you to visit the centers, because, again, sometimes the businesses or nonprofits, they need that one-on-one attention. They need someone to say, okay, well, we need your tax returns. Okay, well, we know that with the tax deadline, it's been extended to October 15th for Los Angeles County. Well, we need profit and loss or your statement of liabilities. And some of that right now can be somewhat overwhelming. And that's why we have our customer service representatives that can offer that one-on-one guidance, that communication. And feel free to use our disaster loan outreach centers, our business recovery centers, to actually get the help you need and get that one-on-one assistance to keep the, your loan processing going. But if you are unable to visit one of the centers, you can apply online by going to lending.sba.gov. Again, that's lending.sba.gov. So again, for any of our economic injury disaster loans, deadline is October 8th, 2025. Again, you can borrow up to $2 million. But here's the one thing that I really want to resonate for any of our Malibu businesses who may not want to pledge collateral, where you can borrow up to $25,000 for economic injury, again, pledging no collateral whatsoever, and use those funds. And then if you decide you want to get more funds at a later period of time, you can always ask for increases in loan amounts for up to 2 years from the date of your loan authorization and agreement. But at least you have initial funds that are unsecured, pledging no collateral whatsoever, to start the actual recovery process. And then again, you have access to more capital down the road. And then if there are any Malibu businesses that are considered what we call a major source of employment, and we want to exceed that $2 million threshold, you can, our processing center will make that determination on a case-by-case basis. But we want to make sure we're getting the help to the Malibu businesses and nonprofits that have been impacted, and really be able to start using those funds to keep the businesses sustained during this recovery period. Now, if there's any questions, of course, I'm going to be here, and I have representatives also from our LA district office, Kenneth Crawford, he's the lender relations specialist. And then I have our fellow member, Linda Lamphere of the long-term recovery group, along with myself. We have a table outside. We'd be more than happy to assist or answer any questions that you may have regarding the SBA Office of Disaster Recovery and Resilience Programs. But you can also contact 1-800-659-2955, or again, visit lending.sba.gov. Again, that's lending.sba.gov. But I thank you so much, City of Malibu, and the residents, business owners who've been impacted. I know that our homeowner program, a lot of people are still working with those programs as well, as far as with refinance. If there may be questions outside about the homeowner program, the renter program, we also can answer those questions, even late applications potentially if someone has not applied. I didn't really want to cover that today because that's on a real case-by-case basis if someone hasn't applied for their home or their or a renter, but we are willing to answer those questions as well. But thank you so much, City of Malibu, for allowing me to present today.
Thank you so much. To take advantage of this opportunity while Corey is up here, maybe we'll pause for Q&A for Corey if anyone has any questions. And please join us on the right-hand side of the room. Thank you so much.
Hi. I know you mostly talked about business loans, and I find that some residents are having a hard time getting approved because their income is low or not showing a lot of income. We were actually approved for a good personal SBA loan of the maximum. So they were dispersed $50,000 already. So when do we get the rest? Is it when we start to rebuild, or?
Great question. So we know that process for rebuilding, of course, with the permitting process, may be a little bit longer. So one of the things that I would suggest for those who may, and I want to cover two things. If you've received the funds, the one thing I would say is go ahead and use those funds with your insurance. If you can actually start the repair process, and then once you actually contact your case manager, you can go ahead and request subsequent disbursements, but it may be a requirement for our loss verifier to come take a look at the project, see how things are progressing with the insurance proceeds plus the first 50,000 that SBA has offered before they actually disperse further funds. But then another thing I'd like for you to potentially look into, because you have maxed out the loan, which is great, is also mitigation measures. Because if you potentially need further funds or more funds, you can also be approved for an additional 20% for mitigative measures. That's 20% of your total loss. So if you had, let's say, $1 million total loss, that potentially can open you up for another 200,000 of funds available for use, just if you need it down the road. Now, here's one thing that I'm telling people as well, for those who have not received the funds. What I would strongly recommend is, if you can hold off, please do, because most homeowners are not in a position to actually rebuild. And a lot of people don't realize that as soon as we make that first disbursement, we actually start that 12-month clock. And I really want to make sure any Malibu homeowner, renter, business owner, they take full advantage. So if you are in a position in Malibu where you don't need the funds now, try to hold off till you absolutely know when you can start the project, and then go ahead and request those funds maybe like a month in advance. That way it just gives SBA that time, and you can request extensions in your disbursement amounts, but you have to make sure that that communication is made clear to the case manager at a processing center. But thank you for the question.
Yeah, that answers it. Thank you. And I want to thank the Boys and Girls Club, because they've helped my family so much over the years, especially during these fires. I have 2 of my kids are doing remote therapy with you guys. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much. Hi, thank you again for helping so many people in Malibu like Joe. We were fortunate to be approved for a loan, and we have gotten initial disbursement. My question is it possible to use the SBA funds for things that are not covered by insurance? And specific examples would be things like a septic tank repair or replacement, or even inspections, HVAC systems, solar systems, things that may not be covered by insurance, because part of the problem is, like Joe, I got an initial disbursement. I didn't ask for it. It showed up. Long story. But because of that, my clock is ticking.
Yeah.
And so in a year, I'm going to have to start paying interest on, I think, the whole amount. I'm not even sure.
Yes, you would be on the whole amount.
Understand that when they get the loan, that they're going to start charging you interest on the full amount when you get that first $50,000 payment. So it's a really big hit to families to take when you can't even start rebuilding. So is there some discrete category of repairs that you think property owners in Malibu in particular, who are mostly on septic, that they could start using those funds for and start getting draws, since you're already paying interest on the loan from the get-go?
Correct. Great question. So for the HVAC systems, the septic systems, that's still all considered real estate repair replacement. So that would be eligible to go ahead and start using the SBA funds. One of the things that, again, that I really want to emphasize, because I've been with the agency now 19 years, I started in legal. So I was at the processing center, and I can't emphasize enough that communication that you have with your case manager is paramount. So whenever you're making any kind of repairs, it's okay. Send an email, make a call, leave a voicemail, because sometimes the case managers, they do have a number of cases that they're dealing with, but keep that constant line of communication, because that's also going to help for subsequent disbursements down the road. And then one of the things you mentioned, and it really kind of resonates with me, is that we want to, some of those measures may be considered mitigation. So again, you could be eligible for additional funding if that, like the solar systems, if that is a mitigative measure, you may look into using mitigation funds, which is 20% of your total loss, to potentially get extra funds versus actually using it as real estate repair replacement. Just something to maybe kind of talk to me afterwards, because maybe some of those projects could be considered mitigative measures.
And I think I mentioned earlier, we have a little driveway problem. If it's something my insurance will not touch, because I had California Fair Plan on top of everything else. So if they're not going to be covering it through insurance at all, is that something that I could say, well, I'd like to use these funds that the SBA is presented and just, fix the driveway, get it inspected, do all that stuff, and not have to wait to exhaust my insurance?
Great question. So
None of us are going to be able to exhaust our insurance
Yeah.
and start accessing those funds probably soon.
So another great question. So what happens is you have what's called a use of loan proceeds, and you probably saw that and many of you all have you signed your loan authorization and agreement. That's very key to kind of review that loan authorization agreement. Make sure that you have a use of loan proceeds for what we would consider landscaping, debris removal. And as long as you have that in your actual loan authorization agreement, that usually kind of breaks it down. It'll say this much for home repair replacement, this much for personal property, this much to repair automobiles. Of that monies, you just want to make sure, again, communication is key with the case manager. Talk to he or she and say, okay, this is what I'm doing, or thinking about doing. Maybe we need to do what's called an alternate use of proceeds for some of the projects you're trying to do. But again, communication is vital. Make sure you're just communicating everything to the case manager and letting he or she know every step of the way.
Okay, thank you very much. I
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Corey. Next, we'll have Seda Zorabian and Shannon Sedgwick from the LA County Economic Development Corporation. Thank you so much.
Okay, wonderful. Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for the City of Malibu for having us here today. My name is Seda Zorabian, and I'm one of the regional managers from Los Angeles County Economic Development Corporation, and my colleague, Shannon Sedgwick, Senior Director of Research and Analysis in Applied Economics. I'm one of the regional managers that actually supports the businesses here in Malibu. A little bit about LAEDC, Los Angeles County Economic Development Corporation. We are a private nonprofit organization, a 501c3. What is our vision? Our vision is a reimagined Los Angeles regional economy, growing, equitable, sustainable, and resilient, that provides a healthy and high standard of living for all. The way we do this within the business assistance program is we offer businesses technical assistance, confidential consulting one-on-one to take a strategic approach in assisting them with resources that are available through LA County of no cost to them. Some of these resources are workforce and development, could be tax incentives, access to capital. Thank you for our partner, SBA, who's also here as well. Connections to public-private resources, cost containment strategies, procurement opportunities, as well as direct help to employers to overcome challenges and retain staff. Small business referral webinars. We do have webinars on a monthly basis to help businesses with anything from marketing to workforce to access to capital. And the way we do this is by providing those warm connections. And that would be, for instance, permit assistance, financing, again, connecting to our small business development centers, energy efficiencies, workforce through our Los Angeles County America's Job Centers of California, as well as providing economic data through forecasts and industry-specific data, and also our real estate site selections. This is also in connection to for manufacturers. We work with a partner to help them streamline their process, and also risk management through workforce as far as assistance with workers' comp and that type of information. So that's us as far as the business assistance side of what we do at LAEDC. And I'd like to go ahead and introduce you to Shannon, our Senior Director of Analysis and Research.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Appreciate the opportunity to be here with you today. As Seta said, my name is Shannon Sedgwick. I'm the Senior Director of LADC's Institute for Applied Economics, and we're a small team of economists that specialize in economic research, workforce analysis, and regional planning. And we work closely with state and local agencies to support recovery and resilience efforts after economic shocks, including natural disasters like the 2025 Palisades Fire. Following the Palisades Fire, our team conducted an analysis to estimate property losses from the LA wildfires and estimate the resulting economic and fiscal impacts from business disruptions within the fire perimeters. It was released in late February, so pretty quick turnaround. In that report, we determined that $28 billion was the total assessed value of the affected parcels in the Palisades and Eaton burn areas, and that their estimated true market value was approximately $53.8 billion when applying market valuation models. And according to CAL FIRE, close to 60% of the just over 12,000 assessed structures just in the Palisades burn area were destroyed with greater than 50% structural damage. An additional 8% sustained major, minor, or affected damage, and the remaining 35% structures were undamaged. Based on the damages that were incurred, recovery from these wildfires could extend through 2034. And regarding business interruption, we identified close to 1,900 individual businesses that were located in the burn areas, and 60% of those businesses were located in the vicinity of the Palisades Fire. While is regional in scope and not focused solely on the city of Malibu, we do recognize the city's unique exposure, as well as its deep economic and cultural significance within the county. So Malibu's economy is tightly interwoven with industries that are sensitive to disruption, tourism, wellness, creative services, and boutique retail. The fire didn't just temporarily close storefronts. It also interrupted film productions, halted events, delayed investment, and limited seasonal visitor spending, particularly along PCH and near trailheads and beach access points. So these losses, they're harder to see than a damaged structure, but they're no less real. We also saw ripple effects among small business owners and independent contractors, many of whom operate within thin margins and limited insurance protections. So these groups face challenges accessing recovery capital, and their recovery trajectories, they tend to lag behind that of the larger employers. In our workforce development research, these patterns are particularly important to track because the informal, creative, and contract-based economy is a major feature of the region, and Malibu plays a significant role in that ecosystem. So that brings me to the three resource areas that my pillar of the organization is highlighting for today. And so the Institute, we focus on doing economic impact analysis. So our regional models assess both short-term damages and long-term recovery paths. And these can inform recovery investments and help prioritize local assistance programs. We do conduct workforce development research. So we're identifying which occupations and skill sets are most vulnerable to various types of disruptions and where reskilling or support programs might be most needed to address gaps. We do regional industrial analysis. So we're placing events like the Palisades Fire in the broader context of regional economic resilience by looking at the interdependencies between Malibu, surrounding communities, and key traded industries like entertainment, wellness, and tourism. So looking ahead, I want to share that the LADC is currently conducting a more comprehensive state-funded analysis of wildfire-related economic impacts across our county. That study will be completed in mid-2026. And while it does not focus specifically on Malibu, it will incorporate data from this region and provide actionable insights on how to build a more climate-resilient economy for the county as a whole. So Thank you again for the chance to speak with you today, and we look forward to collaboration, continued collaboration as Malibu and its neighbors work toward a stronger and more resilient future.
Thank you so much. To take advantage of the opportunity with Seta and Shannon at the podium, if folks have any questions, please join us at the microphone on the right-hand side of the room. Okay, I think we're good.
And also, thank you so much, Farah. Tomorrow, we will be having a Small Business Recovery Center event located at the Malibu Country Mart at the courtyard right there at Tradinoy, as well as where Alfred's right around the corner from Alfred's Coffee. So please, know of a business, you are a business, please come and join us. We will be having our partners there that are specifically going to be focusing on financial assistance to businesses. And this is going to be an ongoing effort from LAEDC to be out and be able to assist the city of Malibu. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Next, we'll hear from Gus Peterson with the Malibu Community Long-Term Recovery Group. Please welcome Gus.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks so much for being here. My name is Gus Peterson, and my wife and I moved here about 15 years ago. Our kids were born here. They're growing up in Malibu schools. They're playing soccer and baseball and softball at Bluffs Park. We live here, we work here, we play here, we sleep here. We spend almost all of our time here. And now we're deeply trauma bonded to this place. And we're deeply bonded to all of the friends that we have here in this place we get to call home. I'm honored to serve as the director of something that has grown out of both necessity and a deep love that not only I have, but many people I know and work with have a deep love for this community. And this thing is called the Malibu Community Long-Term Recovery Group, or the chewy acronym of MCLTRG. This group was formed in response to the fires of this last year. But more than that, it's a hope. It's a shared hope within our group that now that the headlines have moved on, and they have, and the emergency crews have moved on, and they have, as a community, we will still be here for each other. Not just in the short term, but for the long haul. It's in our name, long term. So what is a long-term recovery group? Some of you might not be familiar with that. A long-term recovery group, or LTRG, is a collaborative partnership. It brings together local nonprofits, national organizations, faith-based organizations, community leaders, and government agencies with one mission: to walk with disaster survivors through the long process, and it's a long process, of recovery, especially those who don't have the resources to do it alone. So this is about more than disaster response. It's about helping you rebuild your lives, helping us rebuild our community, regaining our stability, and restoring our sense of hope and belonging. It's about bringing our community home. It's in our mission statement. I don't know if it's in this part. No, it's not in this part of our mission statement. There will be a QR code in a later slide that will link you to our website with our full mission statement. It's the last line in our mission statement that says our goal is community wholeness. So who are we? Well, we have an executive board. I think 2 of the 3 of the executive board are here today. Joel Dunn is the chair of the board from Malibu Pacific Church. Casey Ernest is the treasurer with the Boys and Girls Club of Malibu. And Heidi, are you here yet? Heidi Gardner from Pepperdine University. She is our, Heidi Bernard, I'm sorry. Heidi Bernard. I know her. Heidi Bernard from Pepperdine University is our secretary. And if you are a member of our group, a member or representing a member organization, can you just raise your hand? I see lots of you out there. Thank you for being here. So what do we do? Let me take a few minutes to explain what we do. And at this point, a lot of this language is aspirational. The long-term recovery process is just beginning. And so we're forming and we're coming together. And this is the hope that we are reaching toward alongside you, our community. The first one is that we listen and we assess. Our partner organization, the Malibu Boys and Girls Club, has received a sizable grant to provide care coordination, and they've been doing that not just since January, but since Woolsey, because the Woolsey rebuild isn't actually finished. And as a trusted community partner, the care coordinators will listen and assess what the needs of our community are. Our first responsibility is to listen. Through this team of care coordinators, we'll meet with survivors, homeowners, renters, individuals, families, and any other community members impacted by the fire and identify what their unmet needs are. These needs might include temporary or permanent housing, rebuilding support, legal and insurance assistance, mental health services, transportation, and on and on. Every story is different. Every story has dignity, and every story and every experience deserves care. Number two, it's our goal to gather and secure resources, to be the one-stop hub so that you can be connected to resources that meet your unmet needs. We are actively building partnerships across the city, county, and even nationally. Our goal is to bring in financial support, donated goods, skilled labor, and professional services to meet the needs that have been identified. And we know the gaps are wide. We've heard little glimpses into that earlier, and we'll hear some glimpses into that later. Many of you are still displaced. Many are waiting for repairs, documentation, or clarity about policies or the future, or any or all of that. And we're here to help close those gaps strategically, collaboratively, and efficiently. Number three, we coordinate and we connect. One of the most important things we do is connect people to the right help at the right time. This isn't a handoff with a phone number and a pat on the back saying good luck. It's a coordinated effort. We've done this before in this community, and we're learning and we'll continue to try to do it better. We help people navigate complex systems, advocate on behalf of survivors, prevent duplication of services, and make sure that no one falls through the cracks. We're committed to doing this work in a way that is both compassionate and effective. And number four, we seek to plan for the future. Recovery is not just about what was lost, but it's about what we can build moving forward. Our work includes strengthening community resilience, improving disaster preparedness, and investing in systems that make us stronger and more connected. By planning ahead, we reduce the harm of future disasters and ensure that we can recover faster, smarter, and more equitably. So these are our aspirations. These are our aspirations for our community. When a disaster hits, there's an initial wave of support, and that's essential. And I got a front row look at that when I started volunteering with the Boys and Girls Club of Malibu in January and just helping. I became the default forklift driver, even though I hadn't driven a forklift in 20 years, offloading pallets of donated goods. And I got to interact with a lot of deeply impacted people and deeply passionate people who were serving our community. And then I heard a need for this long-term recovery group to form. And it's been an honor to do so. And it was an honor, and it continues to be an honor to experience that initial wave of support. And now we're moving into the next phase, and it takes time. It takes follow through, and it takes community, and it takes integrity. And that's what our group is here to address, the staying power, the long-term support that extends months, even years beyond the day of the fire. So our goal is simple, and it's not easy. It's to walk with every person who needs help until that help is no longer needed, to meet the unmet needs. We know that won't happen overnight, but we believe wholeheartedly in community wholeness. As a group, we are committed also within our group to seeking wholeness within our group, within our meetings. Because if we don't have this wholeness with one another and have hard conversations with one another and get to the other side of hard conversations with one another, then I really believe we have no business seeking wholeness in our community. So I don't mean to put this a little ahead, but there is the question of how you can be involved, and I always appreciate that question. We are going to be here for a long time, and I want to answer this question with really two ways in the years to come that you can engage. If you've been affected by the fire and are in need of support, we encourage you to reach out. Do we have, oh, there's our list of partners. I'll leave that up for a second. We encourage you to reach out. There will be a QR code that links you to our website where you can just fill out a really simple form. We're here to help, and our process is built around respect, confidentiality, and partnership. If you're in a position to offer help, whether that's through your time, your skills, your professional services, or financial donation, or anything else I might not have mentioned, we welcome your involvement. Please reach out. This list of community partners and national partners, if you'll notice on the lower right, it says as of July 9th, 2025. This is not a closed book. This group can and should grow, and I look forward to hearing from you and working with you and inviting you in as we continue to grow this group. Recovery is a shared effort, and it takes all of us. So here's our website. You can register for support if you've been impacted. If you're already on radar in the system with the Boys and Girls Club of Malibu, then you're already on radar for the Malibu Community Long-Term Recovery Group. They are our care coordination provider and partner. But reach out anyways. Would love to know that you're there, and I'd love to respond via email and connect. And once again, you can offer assistance if you're in a position to give, and many people have, and I'm deeply grateful and humbled by all the assistance that's been offered. It's a very simple form. I look forward to hearing from you. Let me just close by saying this. We've been through a lot. My family was evacuated during Franklin. The fire came right up next to our house, and thankfully our neighborhood was spared. But there's a little bit of survivor guilt along with that. And every story that I hear is so precious and hard. And this group of earnest people seeking to help and seeking to find the resources and connect the resources is a good group. And I hope you'll trust us over the next several years as we seek to restore community wholeness, because it's a beautiful thing when neighbors show up for neighbors. So it's not just a response, our recovery group. It's a group of people that want to rediscover what our community is, and we want to bring you home. So thank you for showing up today. Thank you for caring, and thank you for choosing to be a part of Malibu's long-term recovery. Thanks for your time.
Thank you so much. Since we have Gus at the podium, we're going to take advantage of a brief Q&A session if folks have questions for Gus.
I might not have a lot of answers right now, but in maybe 6 years, I can have some excellent answers after the nuanced experience of that.
It's a fantastic presentation.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you again, Gus. Next, we'll hear from Brent Woodworth and Keegan Gibbs from the Community Fire Brigade. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. First of all, let me thank the mayor along with the city officials and the staff and the support and the community itself and all of those of you watching within the impacted area. I've got two other gentlemen with me I want to briefly introduce. And Mr. Keegan Gibbs, who is the Community Brigade Regional Director, who spent most of his time during the Palisades and Franklin Fire managing that event with us. Unbelievable job. And also Mr. Chris Frost. And Chris Frost is our Community Brigade Safety Officer and makes sure that what we do is indeed safe and secure throughout the brigade members. We are a 501c3 volunteer organization. We are your community brigade. We are all volunteers. We live in the local community. We suffered losses with you. Several members of our organization lost their homes or suffered a lot of damage. We understand the feelings that you're undertaking, the losses, the challenges, and all the issues that are going on with now rebuilding. One of the things, though, that we've learned over time is the huge value of mitigation and trying to rebuild stronger as we go forward. We've seen that when you do proactively mitigate, you can dramatically reduce the risk of loss from any hazard, from fire, earthquake, flood, etc. Actually, the numbers are interesting. For every dollar you spend on pre-disaster mitigation, from a structural standpoint, you typically save about $10. But if all of us as a community come together and take responsibility and understand the risks that we face, and we change our behavior, so the concept of mitigating risk throughout the community becomes a natural thing, like buckling your seatbelt, those results are as high as 60-to-1 benefit ratio. It really, really works. One of the reasons I've got Keegan here as well is I want him to share a little bit experiences and knowledge about mitigation, some of his personal stories. And Keegan, you want to talk about mitigation for a minute?
Yeah, sure. Everybody, thanks for having me. My parents' house was lost in the Woolsey fire, so for those that lost houses here, I feel for you. I get it. My parents still haven't rebuilt. They're still working on their permit, so it's hang in there, and I hope that everything will be smoother for you guys than it was for my parents. My mission post-Woolsey was to figure out why my parents' house burned down, and it's how and why their house was built and how it was managed. And if there's anything you guys could take away from us standing up here today is rebuild in a more responsible way, rebuild in a way that it's not going to happen again, because fires are going to happen again and houses are going to burn down again. And I just hope that we can take the information and the science that is out there beyond what the current building code is to make sure that we can rebuild responsibly so we don't keep burning down at the same rate that we do. So thank you.
One of the things that the brigade offers, and also the city of Malibu with Gabe and other folks there, is free assessments. So for existing homes and prior to the fire, we've done about 450 home assessments. I think Gabe and his team have done similar number of assessments. And we really have found that those individuals who, in essence, get off the couch and start to do the mitigation, in many cases, those homes are still there. We are now in the process of looking forward. As you start to rebuild and go through that, and you look at landscape design and other efforts, we're trying to initiate a program to help you look at those things as well. So as you do that design and you look at, gee, should I put a bougainvillea underneath my window? We'll be glad to answer those questions for you and help you out. And there is a lot of documentation that is available concerning the different zones as you move from the direct proximity of your house outward, and the things that you can do to help reduce those risks. Please go to our website, communitybrigade.org, or also go to LA County Fire website. We work in complete collaboration with LA County Fire Department, with the County Board of Supervisors, the City of Malibu, and the surrounding community as well. We love you guys. We are you guys. We appreciate your support. We will continue to be here and work with you for the long term. So thank you very much.
So much. Since we have them up here, yes, Q&A. Thank you, Joe.
Oh, that's true.
Of course, I'm here to give my gratitude to the Community Brigade. If it wasn't for you, we wouldn't have many of our homes, many of our lives. and because of you guys, you saved a very important piece in our house, even though it burned down. So we're grateful for that. And how do we get you guys everything you need? That's what we want. How do we get you guys, get your teams up like 500 members rather than 50? Like, what can we do to help?
Well, one of the things that you can do is you can go to the Community Brigade website. We allow you there to sign up if you're interested in supporting the organization or joining the organization. You have the ability to go there and sign up. We are going to be conducting some additional classes and training coming up in November, so we'll be doing basically sorting through a lot of the applicants. You do go through a full analysis progress that we go through, background checks, et cetera. But as we add members into the brigade, we look at all ages. It isn't just strong guys like this, grab hose and carry a fire truck on their back. It's a lot of people because we need support just as much as we need field individuals. They play just as critical a role in logistics, communications, operations, and all kinds of things. And the more folks that we can get involved and get the message out, the better. But it's also important to realize we work in full collaboration with the fire department. We are not a cowboy organization. We only operate when asked to do so, and we operate under their specific directions. Also, we work very closely with the Sheriff's Department. Now, Commander Jen Situ, during both the Franklin fire and the Palisades fire, we did a lot of the evacuations under her command at that point. So it's very organized, very structured. If you can work in that kind of an environment and you have some time to help dedicate, we ask for at least a 3-year commitment because it's a big investment. We'd love to have you. So please, I appreciate any involvement or any support that you can provide in working with us. The whole community is more than welcome to do so. Thank you, Joe.
And what is the training involved? Like, is it weeks long, months long?
Yeah, so the training's about 100 hours of the initial training for the first year. And then there's repeated training that every year that you have to do. So
all in person?
Yes, mostly in person. Yes, and in field and in classroom. So
okay, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Joe. Appreciate you.
I do also want to point out that Joe's husband is on the brigade, and Joe also supports us. So full disclosure with their help. Any other questions, folks? No. Chris, you want to anything? No. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much to Community Fire Brigade. At this point in the workshop, I will pass it on to Yolanda Bundy, Director of the Community Development Department, for this next session.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you all, to all the speakers. I appreciate all of the information. The next part of the session is it's very special and dear to my heart. We have a few of the families that went through the Woolsey fire. So I'm going to invite forward Rohi Stack, Drew Leonard, and Walter Merring to join me. Walter, right there. As a part of the Malibu Community Recovery Workshop, we are honored to have these families that have agreed to share their story and their experience, rebuilding their lives and going through this process. These families lost their homes in 2018 through the Woolsey fire. And so we want to hear your stories and share, if you are able to share your journey. We feel this can be an example of strength, perseverance, hope, and community spirit as the new Palisades and fire families are moving forward. So I would like you to first to invite you to introduce yourselves. Just tell us a little bit about your family, your connection with Malibu, and then I will ask you a few questions through the panel, and I think that's how we're going to move forward. Is that okay?
Hi, my name is Rui Stack. I lost my home on November 9th. No, never, I don't really remember the date, but I left my home November 9th. Because the fire was approaching and I evacuated with my son. My husband and my other son evacuated later. I moved to Malibu in 2002 to Point Dume with my husband Brian and my two kids at the time, and I had one more later, Farah, who's right here, Tariq and Azim. We loved our life in Malibu, and I'm sorry. I know it's been a long time, but the fire was very hard to deal with, and thankfully we moved back, and our new house is wonderful, but I left November 9th, 2018, and I did not go back until the land was cleared because I didn't want to see the remains of my poor house until the land was cleared, and I went with my architect, Doug Burge, on May 7th, 2019, and then I could appreciate it because it was just fresh land, and I've been a member of the Malibu community and participated in a lot of school and community boards and PTAs and etc. And this is a great community to be a part of, but the fire really was, it was not the most devastating thing. The loss of my father and my mother-in-law was the most devastating thing, but it was second.
I want to thank you, Rui. I also want to mention to everyone that Rui also served on the Malibu Planning Commission and has been a long time resident of Malibu. I think I've known Farah since she was about 4 or 5 years old. My name is Drew Leonard. I'm a 31-year resident of Malibu. I am actually, should not be part of this group. I did not lose my home in the fire. I had elderly parents that had an income property that did burn down in Woolsey. I stayed behind and did my best to try to save 2 properties during the Woolsey fire, but was not successful. I wanted to thank Mikey and Emmett Pearson for doing everything they could during that 19 days of horror that we went through. And I also want to thank Keegan Gibbs. He was so available during the Palisades fire, right in the middle of it, to take my texts and calls and when I was trying to set up my pool pump and I had the wrong coupling, and he got me set straight, and I ended up not needing it, but Keegan, you're a rock star. Thank you. Having been through helping my family rebuild and also going through the rebuilding process, I would just try to advise everyone to look long in regards to what is best for Malibu. I am presently on the Planning Commission. Because of my experience from Woolsey, it encouraged me to become an advocate for residents in regards to helping them. The city staff, after the Palisades fire, I was coming to workshops. Everyone was coming in saying the system's broken from Woolsey. It's too hard, too restrictive. There was lots of doubt. I've been talking to staff. I've been hearing even today about what programs have been enacted. And I just want to tell everyone that Yolanda, building safety, they're good to go, and that they're going to help you guys. And it seems like it's a terribly hard task, but it's totally achievable. And, you know, the only guidance I would give everyone is, you know, this is going to be a long process in regards to what you need to do to get your individual situation covered. All I could say is the best way to get into your home as quickly as possible is to just start from scratch, make sure your project is complete. During Woolsey, we had a saying that there was only one bite at the apple in regards to when you submit. And if you keep coming back and adding components to your project midstream, you are going to be having to pay for building and safety fees for those reviews. And you'll end up being, you'll have a better home, we'll have a better Malibu if you build a brand new home with all brand new features and you have a fully inclusive project. And that's all basically I want to say.
Thanks. Hello. My name is Walter Mehring, and we have been in Malibu for a long time. Our house we lost in the Woolsey fire, and it's located on Harvester Road in Malibu Park. And it was an old house, and we didn't have any plans. We searched for them, but couldn't get them. So we had to basically start from scratch. My wife and I live there, her mom, and we've got 4 grown children. They have their own children. And it was quite an exercise for us. I do have some business background and some event management experience and finance, so that helped a little bit. We decided to go the owner-builder route, so it was quite a learning curve. Overall, our experience with the city was great. There are always some hiccups, of course. You tend to complain if things don't go the way you want them to be, but overall, we learned a lot, and happy to share some of that with you today.
No, and I thank you, and I am sorry. I know this is still very fresh, and it will never go away. So you even being here, I'm just blessed that you're even able to speak about it. But I wanted the families from Palisades to know that they're not alone, and that this is an effort that is going to take everybody, and for them to know that there is hope, that the whatever we're going through, we're going it together. But I wanted the families to hear from you that have going through. So some of the questions that I had, what do you think it was the biggest obstacles and challenges that you faced through all of this? Not only the rebuild process, but when the fire happened, what is that you see that we can do better?
I go a long time on that one. Is this mic working? Okay. I think the biggest obstacle during Woolsey was that the residents were locked out. You know, basically, I was eating out of a defrosting freezer for about 8 or 9 days, and I did have a barbecue that still worked, but that the power shutoffs, the notification systems, all that, you know, that whole public safety aspect, we have made great progress, but we still have so far to go in regards to that. And as I said, stoplights, all those type of things. In regards to the rebuilding process, during Woolsey, you know, the city basically had similar executive orders from the governor. They're far more expansive now in regards to not requiring de minimis waivers for septics, but they still do require, is it an RPB? but they will not have to go through a hearing, which is great. But the biggest obstacle, which I think has been resolved, is the changing goalposts in regards to what the requirements were after the fire. They seem to have been fine-tuned in regards to what you guys are going forward with. And I think the biggest obstacle probably was for a lot of the residents in Malibu Park that tried to do the two-step planning verification with an APR or site plan review on top of it, and then having coastal deem that not legal, and that threw a lot of people into. Yes, COVID too. Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
I was mentioning that one of the challenges that we faced through your guys' rebuild was the global pandemic with the rise of prices on materials. So if any one of you want to speak about that, how does that you dealt through the pandemic, through fire rebuild with your families, with all of these challenges that you went through?
Okay, so one of the things that the fire had taught me early on is that I was getting extremely frustrated. Right after the fire, I contacted my architect, I contacted a builder. I'm like, I'm ready to go. And it doesn't work that way. So it takes time. The fire was in 2018 and we did not move back until 2022. So that was 4 years. One thing I could advise is that you have to let your anger and frustration go. You have to be patient. It's very hard. I'm not a patient person. Just try to do things that are in your own control. We also, as Yolanda said, had COVID. Thankfully, our builder had bought most of our wood and supplies right before COVID began. But there were so many variables that I had no control over. And managing my emotions and feelings was very important, because once I could just say, okay, this is going to take a long time and I just have to let it go, that really helped me. And my main focus right after the fire was, I had 3 children. Farrah was at USC, but I still had 2 at home, was to get them back on track, back to school, back to activities, keep them busy, not make them have any mental health issues. Unfortunately, they did have some. But the biggest obstacle was, I think, of course, there's going to be issues like our architect, my project manager's architect, forgot to submit things for a month, or this happened or that happened. But if you live in anger, it's just going to make it worse, and it's very hard to do. So that was my biggest advice.
I would say everyone here, best advice I could give you is, I know everyone has busy lives and careers and obligations. You have to be involved in the process, and you have to be involved in the build. You cannot just cut a check and make it happen.
Yeah, so that was one thing. When I meant let it go, I mean, don't get angry if things don't happen. So I was in my husband works a lot. So I was in contact with the people in a very nice way, with the people at the city, who were, for the most part, very, responded, with my project manager at my architect's firm, and with the project manager with my builder. So those were the 3 people that the city and the 2 project managers. So I didn't micromanage them, but I did weekly check-ins, what's going on. So I did do that. And so I was involved in the process. thankfully, a lot of the footwork, and I'm very thankful, I don't know if a lot of people have that, but for my architect was Burge, and I had a project manager who was doing most of the back and forth with the city. And dealing with the city for me, for the most part, was relatively positive experience. Towards the end, there was like something annoying about, they wanted to know the size of the gate motor for my pool, which I didn't understand. But for the most part, it was, as long as I didn't scream or yell at them, they responded very nicely to me. And sometimes it took time. In the beginning, I did kind of get angry because, that's normal. But it takes time, and you just have to, I know I sound like a broken record, but just have to be very patient. But I was very involved on a weekly basis with those 3 points of contact.
Yeah, you touched on something. I think we learned very quickly not to look back. We'd been through a lot of fires, and I always thought we'd come back, and made some really dumb decisions. I mean, I couldn't think about the fact that I left cash in the house and things of that nature, and obviously a lot of personal items. But looking forward was the way to go. And COVID, Yolanda, was certainly a challenge. In our case, I don't know if in hindsight it was good or bad, but our marriage lasted. We decided to negotiate with the insurance company to get the money, the portion that is allotted for rental while you're living somewhere else as you're building, and to take that money and buy RVs. So we bought an Airstream and another RV, and you end up owning it. So that's maybe an alternative for somebody here in the room. But with COVID, that presented an issue because you couldn't go to the beach, you couldn't go to parks. So we ended up finding some hotels in Santa Barbara just to get a break. So that was a challenge for us personally. Aerials, I don't think we had any issues. And our contractor, I don't think anybody really got COVID. In one case, somebody got a test, but he was fine. I think looking back, probably the most important decision for us being owner-builder is finding the right subcontractors. We had great crews, and it's really important to check them out either by word of mouth, or you can ask for the last 2 references of the last 2 projects they did, or 3 projects, and find out from the owners what went wrong, what didn't go right. That was, I think, a key. And I think aside from maybe one instance, we got really lucky with that. So, and they in turn, some of them became close friends, and they really helped us because, as I said, there was a steep learning curve that we went through. So.
Thank you. Farah, do you want to speak as far as, as going through this rebuild with your families and looking into the eyes of the kids that have been affected by this?
Also, I might get a little emotional. I can. So, as my mom said, when it happened, I was a student at USC, and the days leading up to Woolsey, the fire had started in Thousand Oaks area, over the hill, and I had essentially been monitoring the fire from Santa Monica, where I could see the big, smoke clouds coming down the Santa Monica mountains towards Malibu. I was in communication with my parents and my family. I was checking in on them, and my dad kept reassuring us, like, it won't go to Point Doom, we're near the water, we'll be okay, we'll be safe. And I had, friends in the neighborhood who were posting on their Instagram stories. My brothers were, I believe, 15 and 11 at the time, and they were sending me pictures, and I just remember them telling me the winds are really scary, and I just, was seeing everything from across the Queen's Necklace and just like praying to God that it wouldn't go to Malibu. And on the day of the fire, essentially all of the power was out. I couldn't contact my parents or my family for several hours. So I had no idea what was going on. And then essentially the first call I got was from my mom. And she was in the car with my 11-year-old brother. And shared that she was evacuating with my brother, and they were stuck in traffic on PCH going towards LA for hours. What usually is a 10-minute drive from our house to Pepperdine was taking hours. And she was describing the fire rolling down the mountain as if it was like locked. It was moving so quickly. And my brother was in the car and he was really terrified. And my other brother and my dad were home, and my dad, is always trying to protect our family and save us, and he was trying to save the house. And they got stuck on Point Doom, and thank God for firefighters and the sheriffs that were on Point Doom that day, because their only priority was to get people out of the homes. And honestly, that moment, that fire, it shaped the trajectory of my life. I grew up on Point Doom, went to Point Doom Marine Science School. It fostered my love for the environment and just the natural world. And after the fires happened, I knew I wanted to work in the environmentalism space. I wanted to work in the climate space. I wanted to help our world, affected by the climate crisis. I wanted to give back to the community, and essentially pursued majors in environmental sciences and have committed my career to the climate space and the community. And even though I was in college, and having younger brothers, I think about the fires every day in our old home. And I think what helped me, I tapped into outlets and resources at school or just with friends. I did a lot of painting and just trying to tap into outlets, creative outlets, to help me navigate the loss of our childhood home. I definitely went to therapy at USC. I was just talking about the experience, and even though it's just a house, it's like a living family member. It had so much memory. And one thing my dad always says is, as he's getting older, he doesn't have a lot of memories of us when we were kids, because there's so much has happened, and the fire has been so consuming, and both for my parents, it's the finances, it's the stress, it's the emotion of my mom having to navigate relocating her kids to school and just all of that. And with a lot of the family objects or memorabilia we had in our house, those served as physical memories. You would see them and it would remind my dad of when I was little or my brothers were little. And so one thing I would do is just try and focus on recreating memories with my parents during going to hikes that we used to go to that were affected by the fires, and just making new memories. I would just encourage for families that have young children, or for, young children, kids in high school, folks that are college students or young adults like me, just, build community, tap into those mental health resources. It's awesome that Boys and Girls Club of Malibu has those resources. I wish I pursued those resources when I was navigating Woolsey, because it was very hard. And I'm okay, but I just feel so much for everyone that's lost their home, and I just think build community with one another, spend time with your family. That's the most important thing, is making sure the people in your life are safe and healthy and alive, because that's the most important thing. So build community, spend time with loved ones, tap into creative outlets, take advantage of those mental health resources and wellness, appreciate, the beauty around us with the natural world. And personally for me, got really involved with advocacy. So in college, I was very involved with policy advocacy prior to joining Malibu, I was very involved with climate advocacy, attending city council meetings, encouraging and just advocating for resources towards climate opportunities and mental health resources for communities, because I know more children are experiencing these fires. And so, yeah.
And now you're amazing, and you're here with Malibu, helping other families rebuild. We are so blessed and honored for you to be part of our team. I thank you for the time. I know there's still a lot that we need to continue healing, and now with this new event of this devastation, how do we move forward? And so, what is your last words that you want to leave to our Palisades family as a last word of advice, or something that you think that you should have done better? Any last words for those families?
Yeah, I think. Does it work? Hello? Yeah. I know it's hard to see that right now, but and my heart goes out to each of you that have lost your home. But you're going to come out stronger, and you learn a lot. You learn a lot. When it comes to specifics about the building process, I think you just want to stay close to people you can trust. If you don't know something, there's not a stupid question. You've got great resources. And I think you want to really make sure you check with professionals when you enter into contracts. Make sure everybody that comes onto your site has workers' compensation insurance, and you're listed as additional insured. There are just certain things you have to do to protect yourself with lien release and all that stuff, and keep track of your budget very carefully. And order certain materials ahead of time. There are some items that will take a long time, like windows. Even appliances, you'll start getting questions from the contractors. Well, what should I provide for here? What are the measurements? So you can't underestimate any of that. So you got to really think ahead a little bit. And I hope it really works out for all of you.
Those were excellent points. I know Yolanda asked about some of the issues with COVID. One of them was supply chains. Try to be flexible in regards to even just trying to buy a range was just such a process during COVID, and it's easy for me to say because I did not actually lose my home, but as time does go by, it does get better. And, when you look back and reflect on everything, sure, those memories are there, but it's similar to grieving a loss of a loved one, that it just takes time to heal. And it's a personal journey that everyone will have to go through to evolve and get through this.
I would say remaining in communication with the city, your project managers, and also emotionally, it's very easy to get upset, but try to stay calm, try to stay patient, look forward, as has been said. Also, I know this is hard. I don't mean to be condescending, but I try to be very grateful. My kids survived. My husband survived. And those were the most important things for me. I know I lost my house, and it was not very frustrating, but it was an ordeal that I had to deal with. But the most important thing was that I was very, very grateful that the people I loved were living and nothing happened to them. And so it's easy for me to say 2018, seven years out now, almost 7 years out now, to say these things. But as Drew said, it takes time. You got to trust the people that you hire. I asked my friends, I asked around for the builder, and my builder, Dave Schaub, with Schaub Construction, he's amazing. He was a reference from my friend Marley, and My architect was Doug Burge. He was amazing. He was part of the reboot process, and he was very helpful. And Evan, who worked for him at the time, my project manager, he was really amazing. But and I thought once the fire happened, my house I could start the next day. It doesn't start the next day. The building process takes time. We didn't really start until almost 2 years after the fire. I think it's probably faster now, but we didn't start to dig until 2 years after the fire. That was it.
Thank you, and thank you for being so open. And I know this has been difficult just looking back, so I appreciate you. I'm not sure if any of the community members has any specific questions for our panelists.
I have a question and a comment. I also rebuilt my home from the Woolsey fire. It burned when we were in unincorporated Malibu, right outside, or unincorporated Malibu, LA County. And the biggest benefit, the best choice I made was collaborating with my neighbors. We shared a builder, we shared subcontractors so we could talk about it, materials and all of that. Just wondering, did you guys benefit from that kind of thing? And did it bring you closer to your neighbors? Because it did me, and we ended up realizing that was really the only reason to move back, because the challenge of rebuilding is so hard. It's not a great financial decision usually.
That was definitely the case for us. We didn't know some of our neighbors before the fire, and we got to know them after, and we compared notes, and we learned from their mistakes, they learned from our mistakes, and and the positives and what have you. So that's an excellent point.
Oh, so I relocated to Calabasas, and my front door neighbors did not lose their house, and I've known them, but they're very nice people, but I wasn't very close to them. And so basically I just did it myself. I wasn't really in contact with my neighbors, and they used different builders, and some of them are still rebuilding. If they had asked for my advice, I would definitely have given it to them, but I kind of pursued it on my own. But my neighbors are very wonderful.
During the fire itself, we had nightly dinners with all our neighbors, as I said, eating defrosted New York steaks out of the freezer, and that part of it was great. In regards to the rebuilding, my family's home was surrounded by homes that had not burned, and there were issues with the neighborhood and the HOA that, maybe I probably would have done better if I followed Rui's advice and not get angry, but so that's the best way to put it.
In a construction zone for the next 10 years. It's still going. So yeah, it's interesting opportunity for bonding or having more conflict, I guess, in some cases. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Rui. I really relate to your story because I have kids the same age. And Farah, I really appreciate that you're at the city. Your story touches my heart. As you know, our house burned down and my 3 kids have been suffering. But I am confused on why it took 4 years. Did it take 2 years for you to get the permits, or because I'm hoping that will be approved by the end. Everyone who's in planning right now will be approved by the end of this year, and hopefully it'll take 12 to 18 months max to rebuild. So hopefully most of us will be back in our houses by the end of next year. And I know that's a lofty goal, but that's my goal for our community.
Well, our situation was a little different because it took the clearing like 6 months, and I didn't start meeting my architect until the house was cleared. Then it took me like another year to build the house, to create the house with him. Then it took like a couple of months to get the builder, and then we had that thing called COVID, and the city was shut down. So that's why, a lot of it was due to COVID and things going much slower and things going on Zoom. And I think you guys, some of the restrictions we have been eased. So that was the other thing. And then we were on the same pad. Our footprint was the same, but our house is bigger. So that was the other thing. But largely COVID was the main issue.
Can I ask you a question about that?
Yeah.
That part of the process is that you built the house that you wanted to build.
Yes.
And that the regulations now are pushing everyone just to build what they had before. So this will be a different process for you guys.
That was the case with us. We had to start from scratch, as I mentioned earlier. And so getting the debris cleared, getting a survey done, getting the architect to come up with a new concept, also making sure that we tried to be a little bit mindful when it came to fire protection. We don't have any eaves on the house. We no longer have our 40 pine trees that burned down. So things changed that way. But overall, the process, even during COVID, I remember we had inspections. The fact the city was shut down maybe even helped us. I don't know. But overall, I think we got lucky. I was really concerned that we wouldn't be able to build during COVID, but it turned out that was permitted. If you remember, some of the other sectors of the economy were completely shut down, so construction was one that they kept open. So I was really grateful for that.
No, and thank you. Actually, the city building and safety was open. We had our current mayor here. She was our senior counter tech, and we had Julie Bauer, another counter tech. So we used to come in every day, and it's been quite a journey. But I just want to make it about you guys.
Oh yeah, and one other thing was once we started digging, it only took 18 months for the house to get built, and it was a bigger house. And the other thing, I don't think any of you have this, I had started a PhD program at UCLA, so I was kind of busy with that and the 3 kids and building the house. So some of it was me.
And how long did it take the 2 of you guys to rebuild?
We went into our house June 3 years ago. We were number 41, I think. So
we went in August 22.
I think Drew was the first, right?
It took about 11 months to rebuild the house.
That's what our goal is. That's great. Yolanda, do you have anything to add? Like, do you think it's possible that everyone who is in planning and building and safety right now can be rebuilt by the end of next year?
I really believe that right now we have the resources. The city council is a lot more involved, and the new city manager. So we are ready. We have 7 applications under building and safety. One of them received their first permit approval last Friday, and is starting construction this week. So it can be done. I know there is a lot of challenges, and for us, the city is the commitment. But also, I'm going back to what Gus said, and really said it well. Everybody has a story. Everybody is going to have a challenge. And so for me, this portion of the presentation is not a comparison. Not a comparison, but something that can be an insight, as many families are going through this. We have close to 700 families are going through this, and so we're here committed.
Yeah.
Joe, I know you spoke the other night at the Planning Commission meeting, and I just want to let everyone understand the city is about 25% of the process. you have your insurance companies, you have your consultants, you have your contractor. There's just, the city cannot help you get to a deadline. All they can do is turn around what they receive. And that for people in regards to their expectations, that they understand that the city cannot do anything to speed up your process.
Well, they can make the requirements like they can. It's up to discretion, so they can make some requirements less or some. I mean, I don't know.
I
yeah.
could talk about that one.
Yeah.
I mean, looking towards rebuilding the city, that's what I originally wanted.
Because all of us,
Yeah.
a lot of us in Big Rock and Las Flores, we don't. A lot of us can't go above 10%. Some can't even build 10% because of a TDSF restriction.
Yeah.
So it's really not.
It is the same process.
Yeah.
To what I know people are trying to say these are rebuilds, that these are not new homes. You guys are building new homes, and every decision that the city made during Woolsey and the process that they have now is based upon a trial and error mechanism, and that I would say stick to the roadmap, because when
This is all about healing and recovery, and
Yeah.
what's really going to make us recover is getting back into our homes as soon as possible.
I understand it,
Yeah.
as I tried to say before, is
Yeah.
that this, this is a big group. I don't know. We're more than happy to talk to you and Colin some more about
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
But that this is a long-term recovery, and individual stories or situations are.
No, I appreciate you all being here. Yeah.
I think the best way to put it is the city does have lots of discretion. Looking back, one of the things that I learned from Woolsey is that if the city uses that discretion too much, then there's animosity towards the city, and it's a lose-lose situation for everyone involved.
Yeah. I
They
mean, we
have
have
a roadmap, and that, following that roadmap is the best path to getting you into your house.
Yeah.
During Woolsey, the fire rebuild requirements, off the top of my head, were changed 6 times, and there were lots of civil lawsuits. There are lots of problems. Anything that's done discretionally can have a backlash to it, and does have a backlash to it.
And I just want to say, when my house was burned, the next day I was like, okay, 6 months, we're going to be back. It didn't happen. The city was, as Drew said, 25% of it. What the builder had to deal with was another 25. The utility companies, the architect. I mean, there's a whole group of people that you have to coordinate things. And also, you don't really want, I wanted my house to be safe, so I didn't want any shortcuts from what the city was requiring me, because going forward, I didn't want, an unsafe house. So
yeah, we all want to build safely.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's. I know everybody wants to go back right away, and I wanted to go back right away, but it takes time, and you either upset and just say, blah blah the city, blah 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 blah, but get mad, or okay, this is under my control, this is not under my control. I've contacted the people I'm supposed to contact. I followed up. Let's take a breather, and what are the next steps? So I understand. I think the city was very helpful and responsive, but there were issues from all those 4 groups. Not issues, but there were things that needed to be coordinated. Towards the end, my builder had to put these bollards because the electric company had put in this unit in front of my house, and then the project manager had to build the bollard. So I had to go and figure that out with the project manager, what's causing the delay, because I should be in. So there's some things that happen, and you just have to work with those 4 entities and figure out what's going on. And I mean, now I can say, okay, I mean, I really, really had to let go a lot of anger because we were stuck in Calabasas. Our rental money ran out. I mean, there were so many, my son's, I don't want to say, but one of my children's mental health was really affected by the fire. Even to this day, one child has a lot of trauma and PTSD and is not able to function. But I could either like be angry and negative, or I could just realize that everybody's trying to do the best they can. And yes, everybody wants to be back in their home as soon as possible, but you just do what you can. I don't know if that helps here.
I think you had made a good point that, you know, there's more involvement than just the city. You've got everybody else around you, the architect, the contractor, the various parties that issue reports, come out and inspect cement and dirt compaction and whatever it may be. I think since two things that come to mind as an observer just now that has changed in the city is, number one, that a lot of it has been digitized. You can submit your plans online, which wasn't the case back then. Also, Yolanda came, I think you came right before Thanksgiving in 2019.
Yes,
right
I
off
came
the
back.
Thomas fire.
I
So
did.
you brought your experience, and unfortunately, you've got the Woolsey fire under your belt now too, and your staff, everybody involved. And now I think you're in charge of both planning and building, or?
Yes, the departments
That
have
really,
unified into one.
I always was frustrated with some decisions that were made. One hand didn't know what the other was doing, and so you can identify the bottlenecks and the issues much more easier. So I see a big plus in that regard.
Just off the top of my head, making exceptions in regards to rebuilding requirements, you're going to be compounding problems down the road. I know that you're rebuilding family homes and you think that you're going to be staying there forever. You could be affecting the future resale price of the home. You might run into problems with insurance, title. There's just so many. Every single decision that gets made has a compounding problem that is affected to it. And these are all things that the city is taking into consideration in regards to how they make their policy.
Yeah, and I mean, there's more to talk about this, right? For us and for the city is the commitment that we're here for. The Woolsey families are still rebuilding, Franklin, Palisade. I think for us is a commitment, and knowing that there will be more questions and knowing that there's more feedback from Palisades, we're coordinating a separate type of workshop for Woolsey families that have completed their rebuild. We have about 202 families that have their certificate of occupancy. So what we will put in I don't want to call it a workshop, more like an intimate conversation between the families that went through it, and if the new families would like to participate, that would be a good event. But I kind of want to thank you all for your sincerity, for your honesty, for allowing me to be part of your life. We are blessed, the city is blessed that you were able to rebuild. And so we look forward for the Palisades families and Franklin families to complete their rebuild. And with that, we'll go into our next segment.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, everyone. To close out today's workshop, please welcome Interim City Manager Candace Bond for a few final remarks.
Thank you.
Wow, that was impactful. Thank you. I want to thank and acknowledge Director Yolanda Bundy for pulling this workshop together. Thank you so much, Yolanda. And I'd like to acknowledge Farrah Stack. I've known Farrah since she was running around the Point Dume Marine School campus as a little girl, and you've just become just an incredible young woman. And the fact that you've chosen public service as your vocation and to help your community is just awe-inspiring. So, I just want to say thank you to you. You make a big difference here. We're so fortunate to have you, and good job, Rui. It's the mama. I'd also like to thank the other members of the Community Development Department team that make this happen. I know you all put a lot of time and effort into this, and so I just am grateful to you. Thank you so much. We all are. Thank you, Mayor Riggins, for being here and for supporting our community as you always do. I saw Council Member Conrad out of there you are back there. You too. Thank you so much for being here. I want to thank all of our guest speakers that were here today, and we sincerely appreciate your time and your thoughtfulness. Listening to the families who were impacted by the Woolsey fire and your testimonials, that was so truly impactful for all of us. I'm a resident too. I've lived here a long time, 30 years, and you never get used to it when your friends and family lose their homes and they have to, we all have to pull together. That's the one thing we do. That's what we do out here. We all pull together and we pull through. So I'm grateful for those testimonials and all that you've done. I want to let you know that outside there are going to be a number of information tables set up for your convenience, including the SBA, our public safety team, our Malibu Rebuild Center team, and there's a fee waiver station as well. There's some folks in the audience that I'd also like to call out. I want to thank the FEMA and Cal OES teams. They have been coming here, 2 times, 3 times a week, working with us, making sure that we're on track for recovery services. And I just like for you all to stand up because you all have just made a tremendous difference and you're really helping us bring our community back. Thank you. Thanks. Let's just hope Gavin and the president don't get in any other fights. But, as we leave here today, let us carry with us not just the practical information that we've gathered, but truly something more powerful. It is the knowledge that we are all part of a community. I look around the room and I see, I guess, the heart of Malibu. I see neighbors who help neighbors who have helped neighbors. I see families who've supported other families, and a community that just refuses to let tragedy define who we are, because that's not who we are. And today's workshop has shown that while the road to recovery, it's long in some circumstances, and I know everyone that wants to get there as fast as possible. Just know that you are not walking this journey alone, that yes, the city of Malibu is with you, and the Malibu community is also here for you and to assist you. When I spoke with Director Bundy, it'd be like a month ago, about how we could get information out more to the community and let them know about resources available. It didn't take long for her to pull together this whole workshop. So we just want to thank you all for being here. Thank you for caring. And thank you for being Malibu strong. So just keep that way, and please interact with everyone, interact with our guest speakers that are here today. We'll have the tables outside. So thank you so very much for coming today and for your time.